what if? If I tell you that the Carnevale is not only the name of that wandering masked parade that takes place every year in Italy? What if I tell you that Carnevale is the name of a skirmish game set in Venice? In this video we'll discover together the lore. Stay tuned if you want to know the mysterious events that opened the rent in the sky and brought its consequences. In April 1793, the high seat of every major religion simultaneously received the visit of a mysterious herald. Tibetan lamas, Hindu Brahmi, the Imam at the Mecca, the rabbis in Jerusalem, and Pope at the Vatican. All of them were pledged the visit of the stranger who was later called the Harbinger. He told of an imminent terrible catastrophe that was about to hit mankind, and terrifying beings willing to subjugate the earth would invade the planet. However, the Harbinger swore in many languages to be there to teach humanity the secrets of magic in order to fight the upcoming threats. All but one refused the Harbinger, taking his word as speeches of a fool, but the Holy Pope was so impressed to fall into paranoia. If the Harbinger was saying the truth, not just the world was in great danger, but even the secret of miracles was ready to be unlocked. Driven by the fear that somebody else could acquire the secrets before him, Pope Pius VI ordered the detaining of the Harbinger into the dungeons below the Vatican, so he could teach everything he knew. The highest ranks of the Inquisition questioned him from weeks, but coercion was unnecessary since the Harbinger was happy to share his knowledge. It wasn't an easy task to explain the intricate origins of the multiverse to minds grown between strict concepts like hell and paradise. Many notes were taken of these lessons, but the confession of the mysterious individual started to create dissent among the cardinals who were keeping the secrets of his existence. Especially Cardinal Antonelli believed that those knowledges were too valuable to not be shared, but at the same time many of his peers didn't agree with him. How could they miss the privilege of manifest divine powers at will? If they could master the lessons of the Harbinger, nobody would stand before the teachings of Mother Church. Antonelli then made a copy of the book of magic that they were writing and fled, carrying it, afraid of the consequences of his stubborn resistance against his fellow cardinals. This act was later considered premonitory since, on the 3rd of July 1793, the Harbinger was killed by the order of Cardinal Giacinto Gerdil, prefect of the Holy See. Nobody could tell which political intrigues led to such an ultimate decision, and nobody could tell anyway, because as soon as the last breath left the body of the Harbinger, enormous disaster fell upon Rome and the surrounding lands. There were explosions, volcanoes erupted, and a great energy bustled from the underground. Under massive earthquakes and seaquakes, the great majority of Italy was swept away, and many European coastal cities fell under the same fate. Thousands of deaths, and whole cities were obliterated as they were never existed. Many more died in the following months due to plague and famine. Flooding destroyed the great majority of harvests, and food was scarce. A glimmery tear similar to a never-ending flash appeared into the sky. Nights were no longer dark, an eerie glowing disturbing the sleep of survivors. Etheric powers could be perceived through these rents in the sky. At the beginning it was just a feeling, a sensation, like the tear in the sky was speaking directly into the people's mind. As time went by, somebody started to heal from an incurable disease. Someone were driven crazy. Someone else gained powers and abilities never seen before. Those people were later known as the Gifted. People started to say that Venice was touched by the Lord, while somebody else thought the La Serenissima had the devil at its side. These rumors spread because Venice was left relatively unscathed by the disaster unleashed around it. It is unknown if this was due to the unique geography of the city or thanks to some inexplicable etheric force, but the Doge, Ludovico Manin, saw in the surrounding devastation the opportunity to his city to reborn. It took a whole year on the razor edge of riots and civil war, but in the end, also thanks to the mysterious help coming from merchant ships belonging to the Church of Dagon, Venice went from a decaying city back to the jewel of the Mediterranean Sea. Nobody cared what that Church of Dagon was or came from, but their supplies helped the city to become the most important in Europe. The Doge had acquired his authority, even if apparently, and now the city was a destination for merchants and visitors who were looking for the eldritch powers that could be sensed thanks to the proximity of the city to the rent in the sky. Venice was constantly bathing in the light coming from the rent, its citizens accustomed to the new 24-hour cycle, while stranger characters freely roam through the canals of the city that never sleeps. This is the setting of Carnevale, the skirmish miniature game. In the next video, we'll see together the faction that populate these alternative realities set in the 18th century's Venice.
Thanks to the monsters behind the masks that gave his voice to this video. If you like this video and want to see more, please subscribe to the channel.